Welcome to another episode of Salvage One Bus Life Adventures. So in this episode, we are hurtling ever closer towards inspection day. We're going to cover the floor heaters. Most people tear those out of their builds, but I'm keeping them in because they work and it's cheap heat. Why would I tear something out or have to spend money to put new heating back in? We're going to cover some seat springs because the air system in there, the piston in the center of the seat has failed. And so I got a couple of the hoses capped off so I don't keep leaking air, but now that means the seat doesn't work, so I came up with a kind of an idea to fix that for now, short term. Then we had a couple little body repairs that we had to make. The thing has seen some damage over the years, little minor stuff, but I wanted to fix all that so when you get it out on the road it doesn't look like a floppy mess. And we may or may not cover the awning in this episode. We just want to get things done so we can get it to the inspection, and this is just another step in that process. And here you go. Enjoy the video. Alright, so I just wanted to show another part of this thing I'm doing now, where this is a fin comb. And you see these on usually HVAC stuff like what do you call them? Air conditioner units and air conditioner condensers on cars and homes and refrigerator trucks and things like that. So you see this on the bus. This is a heater, and all these fins inside is hot water runs through these coils, and motors underneath blow that hot air up. And with all these fins bent over, the hot air just kind of gets blown back, and it's not really efficient, doesn't really work. And a lot of people tear these out of their buses, but I'm keeping mine because they're there. Why get rid of them when they're perfectly good? I just got to unbend all of these little fins because the little retards that rode this bus for who knows how long, somehow, even though a seat sat over the top of this unit, they managed to get their feet in there and managed to bend down all the fins. So I've been going on it with this comb, trying to pull the fins back into a straight line so it's more efficient. The whole entire unit, when it started, would look like this or look like this. It was all completely bent over silver. And then you got to find a place. First, you got to find which one of these rakes or combs fits the pattern of these. And then you got to try and get it in there to start somewhere. And then just, at first, gently roll them back to get as far as you can to get an opening. To get some fins straight. And then you put it in there and you just go this way. And then you go back that way. And you just got to slowly work it back and forth until you get all the fins undone. So let's try this one real quick. It'll be kind of hard to do while I'm holding the camera and trying to do that, but let's see. So right here looks like a good place to put the fin comb in. And it's alternating between this one and this one. I think they're both the same size, but this one fits more often than not. This guy for the more coarse stuff. This guy. So let's try this one, and we're going to stick them in right about, I don't know, let's try right about here and then go this way and see if we can lift some of these up. You want to try to be gentle because you don't want to get that in there. Try and find the right angle for you. You don't want to bend or tear up or wreck these fins. So you want to try to just ease it in there, find the right ones like that. We're going to fit pretty good. Went in just like that. So now we want to try and pull it just a little bit. Try and gently pull it. See if we can get some of these. And it started to work its way out. So let's come back over and start again. And let's see. Gotta be trying to be gentle because you can rip these fins right off the coils. You don't want to do that. So here we go. We're starting to pull them up a little. So this is what it looks like behind it. Where they're all laid down flat. Kind of laid over, bent over. Let's see what we look like after we pull them through. Oops, of course, pulled it out. So let's put it back in again. There we go. Got them kind of straight. Alright. So that wasn't the most perfect demonstration, but you get the idea. And you just keep doing it over and over again. You find the right spot to put the rake in. You just keep going back and forth over and over till you get them straight. Pull that right out. And you just do that as gently and as often as you can. See, we got that whole section there pulled up, whereas before it was all laid flat and silver. Now they're all pulled up. So this won't work perfectly. Some of these are just too damaged to get the rake in and do. But I will get enough of them up so that it will work again. Say 80% efficiency, 85% efficiency, which would be pretty good. And so there we go. I just wanted you to show that little thing. And this is off of Amazon. It was like 12 bucks. Came in 3 parts. There's this little cap screw with some little washer and stuff in there, and then this part was separate, and then the handle was separate, and then you got to put them all together, and then it's made to be kind of flexible so you don't damage your stuff. It's made to spin on there, and occasionally you got to check that screw, that little bolt, and put it back, push it back down, tighten it back down every 10 or 15 passes on here. I don't know if it's designed that way on purpose, but that's the way it works. That's the way it's been working. And I got the other one. There's one back there. I got 95% of the fins straightened out on that one. Some of them were too far gone to save. But let's see what we can do on this one. I'll take a before and after. Maybe I'll take another video clip of this real quick once I get a lot of these done and see where we're at. Well, I managed to save some of them. What I did is a little technique here. I don't know if it's approved or not. But I took the rake like this, and I found like something like this, and I took it and I went this way with it, trying to see if I can pull these. You got to find which way they're bent, and then go against the other direction. So like over here, they were bent this way, so I went that way. This way, they're bent over this way, so I'm going to try and rake it this way. Let's see if I can pull some of them up, form a straight line. At least pull them up off of each other. Give me the opportunity to put the rake in there. See if I can save some of them. So let's try this section here and let's see if we can move it over this way. See if we can get a picture of it. Get a close up. Try and get them into these grooves best we can. Nah, not so good. They're pretty much too far gone. Let's see if we can do. So here, right here, you're starting to tear one out. They get caught up in there and they just will not. They're bent or too far damaged. Oh well. I got enough of them. I pretty much saved it. You can tell. Pretty much saved most of this area, most of this stuff, and just right here, these 3 or so inches, 2.5 to 3 inches of fins are mostly gone. There's some that are popped up enough that air will go through, but this area is trash. This is trashed. There's no way to get those up. I'd have to get in there with like maybe a toothpick or something and try and straighten them up like that one at a time. And I might just end up doing that a little later, but right now I don't want to spend all day doing this. I got other projects to do on here. I just wanted to try and get that up before I forget. But, okay, I think we saved about 80-85% of this one. And I feel good with that for now. Alright, this is the little heater box that's behind the driver's seat. And what it's supposed to do is it takes hot water from the system, and then heats up this little coil, and then a fan blows behind there and shoots hot air onto the driver's legs and feet to help keep them warm. This does not look like it has been opened or changed or maintenanced in a long time. I just pulled this mesh filter out of there, and that is as dirty can be. Inside is completely dirty, has not been serviced or cleaned in a long time. Got some kind of junk here. So yeah, let's kind of fix that up. This mesh here in the back part of the cage has been kicked in over the years by kids sitting behind there. It used to be a seat back here, and they used to kick that fan in, so that's mashed into the back of the motor. So I'm going to see if I can push that or pull that away and get a shop vac up in here and see if we can clean out some of that junk that's in there. Don't want to start any fires or anything like that. And so that's where we're at right now. Alrighty, so I got some of the crud, well, actually a good portion of the crud off of there, and got some of that stuff vacuumed out. It's pretty much crusted in there. This filter, I don't have any kind of replacement for it. It looks like they custom made it. They had took it from a bigger mesh filter and then cut it out themselves, so I just cleaned it up as best I could. Pulled out about, say, 90% of the dirt and dust that was in there. Maybe I'll soak it in some fluid or something. But I mean, at least it's operational now. It does work. I pulled the metal here away from the fan, back out as straight as I could get it. So this should work. Hopefully there was no damage done. Alright everyone, so here's where I fully expect the heckling to start, and by all means, go right ahead and put it in the comment section if you think I'm half-assing this or not, but I know I am, because I just don't have the money right now in the project to replace what needs to be replaced, which is a seat. We've got an air ride seat, and it's either the center piston or a bunch of the airlines. I'm not sure. The airlines would be cheap to do, but I believe it's the piston in the center, because the rest of the stuff holds air, but the seat goes down almost immediately after you pump it up. Within a minute or two, it's back down again. But the lumbar support stays where it's at, and that's run by air. So I'm thinking it's the piston in the seat, not the hosing. And so I'm going to come up with a bit of a ghetto fix, which is I got some car springs, small car springs, and I'm going to mount them underneath the seat on the frames so that the seat will stay up in the air, and give a bit of a bounce while you're driving, so to alleviate any kind of pain on your back. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get some springs and push them under the frame as far as I can get, and then zip tie them in, and that's going to fix it for now. It's not perfect, but once I get the money and the time and can find the seat that I want and everything that I'll need, then I'll buy it and do a video of a correct install. But for now, we're just going to put in these, zip tie in these car springs, at least one, maybe both. And I already fit one under there and sat on it, and it feels fine. It's holding the seat up. It's got a good bounce to it. So I may not need both springs, but I'm definitely going to put one under it. And it'll be right under the part of the frame, so everything will stay steady. And here we go. So start cringing, because this is what's going to happen. I'm going to flip the camera around and just show you a little bit before I start working on it. Alright, so that's what we're dealing with. There's no way to get it anywhere else under there. I'd have to maybe cut that down a couple of springs on each side. So there's maybe 3 coils. Here's the whole spring together. This is the other one that came with the set. And these are only like $40 on Amazon. $20 each. So I could maybe cut, this coil off, down to this coil. And then maybe this coil on this side. And just leave 3 coils, and that would fit under there, but I just don't know how much room I'd have. So right now, it can sit right there on this bracket on the part of the floor that's supported, and then right under here under the seat frame it sits, and this can go in a little more once the seat You can lift the seat up. Once the air activates, the seat will come up another inch or two. Then I can push the spring under there further, and then when the seat comes back down, it'll be resting like right about here. So we can get that done, and then I can just zip tie that into place, and it'll stay there, and the whole seat will stay up in the air like it's supposed to. I would have loved to put it back here, except it's got a heater box back here. Move this kit and everything out of the way. So there's a heater box back here with everything mounted to the floor and piping and everything. The coil would be great right in here and sit right underneath the bracket and hold the whole seat up, but this box is in the way and I don't want to tear it out and have to go through all that hassle. So it's going to get mounted on the side for now, and we'll zip tie it in so it won't move or rock, and it'll stay right in that spot, and that'll be the fix for now. And it's not in the way of the compartment, so I can still lift it. I've had this engine compartment up a couple times already while I was doing other maintenance work, and the spring wasn't in the way, so it's good right where it sits. Looks hokey, but gets the job done. And for a trip to 2,000 mile trip I'm going to be taking this thing on, we'll see. We'll just see how well it holds up. And with that, I'm going to start working. The next time you see it, I'll probably have it already zip tied in. Alright, so there's the spring in place, and I'm going to show you how it is working. I showed you how they did the little zip ties and everything to hold it in place. Now, let's see why I put it in there. Go ahead and have a seat, because now the air ride suspension is not working. You see that spring? See how that spring compresses just a little bit? And there you go. Alright, how does it feel?
Feels like I'm driving a bus.
Maybe how does the seat feel?
Hard as a rock.
Bounce up and down a bit. See that thing working? The spring is working there. That's doing its job. That's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And that's the fix for now until I can get the seat unbolted and the air lines plugged up, and then I can put in a more traditional boat seat or something like that, a single pedestal or van seat. Alrighty, so project to do out here is we have this flap that broke loose, and it's leaving this all flapping loose. So we need to rivet this all back together and try and get it to the bus body so we can keep it clean looking and together. And that's our project now.
Secure it.
We got to secure it. So that's where we're at right now. So my cohort in crime here is going to film while I try and do this, and it'll be hilarity. We're definitely going to be cursing involved, because nothing's going to work right. That's just the way it always is.
You got screws?
I do have screws. Oh, and show them what you found while we were working out here.
So the object of this trip is to collect souvenirs everywhere the bus parks. And look what we found for the first place we parked the bus was a railroad tie. Look at that thing. I mean, it's kind of modern, but still, we found one. So
that's pretty cool. We can make that into a knife.
You make that, some entrepreneur can make that into a knife. Or maybe a decoration for your bus. Alright, many years of finding stuff like this is going to be awesome. So that's got a corner that you have to fit into an existing body line.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get the pliers and try and noodle things around and make it all straighten out before doing it. But this is actually, well, this was a rivet that pulled out. Down here, somebody put a nut in a screw.
All right.
So now I got to try and get that loose.
Now you just got to be careful at that rivet because that looks like it's cracking.
Yeah, everything's going to have to get buttoned down.
So you're going to use what, self-tapping screws? Or?
Yeah, self-tapping screws. Let's see what's in here. That's rubber, so there's nothing for that to grab onto. So I'm going to have to just bend this all back into shape and then put some self-tapping screws in here to help hold it. And probably got to get one in that corner because it looks like it cracked right here. So it's just hanging by this partial screw. So I'll probably have to put a self-tapper in here as well.
So this whole body panel's at risk of coming down.
This whole, well, it's held on. It's not going anywhere. It's just, it'll flap and make noise while you're driving, and then this looks crappy. So
I honestly think all the noise in that cabin, you're not going to hear this.
Right, but I still want to be Sanford and Son.
I wouldn't want to see it flapping. And
don't want to be Sanford and Son. So let's try and at least fix it so it's holding on there and not looking like junk.
All right, start the fixing.
Talking about this, I bought this at Home Depot, I believe, the Ryobi drill, and this thing is a torque monster. I mean, I've literally broken screw heads off of screws putting them in the wood, and it had so much torque it tore the heads right off the screws.
Like brand new screws, not
brand new, right out of the box screws. So this thing is a beast. And Ryobi doesn't sponsor us. They don't give us nothing. We've never talked to anybody from Ryobi. I'm just telling you from experience that this thing is a beast. What does suck about Ryobi is these things. These bend in a stiff wind. So keep the camera on there to watch this. See how that thing's already bent?
I can actually barely tell that it's bent.
Well, it's bent just enough that every time you set it onto a screw and try to go in, it throws the head off.
All right.
It throws this off just enough to pull it out of there, and it's annoying as heck.
That is variable speed.
This is not variable speed. That's just me working the trigger.
Wow.
It's got a forward and a reverse speed with this button, but I just do the trigger. That's all. That's the only speed it's got. This button does something, but I think that may lock the trigger.
All right.
I don't know. Let's see. And then you hit the trigger to unlock it. So that locks the trigger, but the speed is me doing it. This thing has no other perks. This was $49 at Home Depot when I got it. And it's a pretty good purchase. You just got to learn how to use it. You may have seen the footage already. We shot some nighttime footage to try and test them, see what it looked like, and they're pointed way down. I don't think this one's gonna. That one's too big, so we'll stick with this one. So they're pointed way down, and of course we already dropped the screw into the. There's the second screw in. Might as well make a third one. Alright, so that one's definitely missing a screw. Alright, put that bezel there for right now. Is there adjustments? So this appears to be the adjustment screw up here. They look like they were straight. What I will do is maybe pull this out a little bit, just to maybe turn it in just a hair. Try that. Let's put the screw back on. Won't be able to know if we succeeded or not until tonight. When the night kind of comes again and we get to...
When the night comes again.
When the night comes again.
When the night comes again.
Needs a bigger head on that one. And I don't want to crack this by cranking it down too tight. Alright, I got to get down here and try and find those screws that dropped. So I got one, I dropped, looks like two more fell down there somewhere. There's the bezel. This is supposed to be a magnetic tip, so let's see if it does anything.
I see one to your 3 o'clock.
Got it, magnetic tip, nice.
And there goes my drink.
Alright.
It's windy today. And
There
there's
it
one
is.
at your 6 o'clock.
There it is. Alright, something that actually works.
I probably missed all of that.
Oh man, how'd you miss all that?
Because I was worried about my drink. And
Okay, well I'm dropping them puckers back down again and you're going to go film it. Alright, so they all fell down. Now what do we do?
I think there's one directly in front of you. Directly in front of you.
Alright, oh, there it is, magnetic
Tip tools. Yay!
Yay, finally ones that work.
Yeah, what brand are these?
Pittsburgh, from Harbor Freight. This was a 6 screwdriver set. So there's 3 flatheads and 3 Phillips, and they're different sizes. This is the number 1 by 4 inch. So that's cool. This one, they got them numbered. This is the number 3 by 6 inch. So it's a slightly bigger head than this one. So I don't know if this will fit in there. Just barely. So this is more geared towards this size. Alright, just got to be, when you're using screwdrivers like that, especially the Phillips, you got to make sure you use the correct size driver, or you're going to strip them things out. That's going to suck for you.
Screw heads?
Yeah, if the screw heads get stripped out, then you're not going to have fun. No fun at all. Alright, so it looks like it went back on in there. That definitely looks like it came up a little. So if we can't be around here tonight to test them, we can always pull it up in front of a building to a wall, stay about 10 feet back from the wall, and then test them there. That's how we used to do it in the old days. So I won't even have to take the bezel off on that one. Hopefully I can just go in there from the top of the screwdriver and just tilt it right from there. And when you own these buses, you occasionally want to go around these things and check them all anyways, at least like once a month. Check all those, because I know on these mirrors they tend to want to loosen up, and when they vibrate they tend to loosen up. So you just want to go around with a little screwdriver or a wrench set and just try and tighten everything up.
Of course, we got like, what, 40-mile-an-hour gusts today?
Yeah, but it actually feels good because it's also like 94 degrees out right now. So the breeze is actually offsetting the brain killer heat. Of course, you know, this is being where it is. I mean, 120 is what we're going to expect this summer. So 90 something right now is kind of like spring. That's our spring temperatures. All right, so we're going to move everything over to that side and see if we can duplicate it with ease, and hopefully these things are raised. Okay, looks like the altitude adjustment screw is right there. We should be able to get to that fairly easy. That's got a handy dandy screwdriver holder for the bigger handle ones anyways. This little foot thing. I love these things. I might want to put some more around the the bus just to make it easier to get to the roof and get this upper windows and things like that. These are cool. Alright, so we're going to go up here to the altitude adjustment screw, see if we can see it in there. It only took 3 turns just like the other one. Okay, I think that was painless. While we're here, I want to check this. So this is where trying to figure out how it's all laid out. This is for the air to go into the bus. This is the fresh air intake. You can actually see the grid right inside there if you want to show the camera. You can see that's the stairwell on the other side of that grid. So that's inside. This is, I believe, we crack this open and there's going to be a metal filter in here. And I believe that is also the top of the air filter for the whole engine and everything is right under here. I'll show them. Right under here, right in this area. And I believe the top of it is right in here. So we're going to take this out and see if we can see the top of that filter. And see what this filter looks like, because I don't think we've had this open yet. And this is, I think it's going to be a metal mesh pre-filter. If not, it'll be a paper element. Alright, it looks like a metal mesh filter. And that is definitely dusty and dirty. So I think I'm going to take it over to the hose and just wash it out and let it dry out. And it looks like there's 2 of them in there. I'm going to put this one right here for right this second. And it looks like there's a second one right here. Yep. So again, this is part of bus maintenance. Got to keep on top of this kind of stuff. And that is definitely dusty and dirty. That's keeping out big chunks. It's not really keeping out the finer stuff. This is more for leaves and brush and things like that. So I'm going to go wash these off. I don't see the top of the air filter that's here. So that might be down in there somewhere. This might serve a dual function. It might be the air inlet and the air comes down into there as well as shoots stuff back. Alrighty, so let me go wash these off and we'll bring them back after dry it off and put them back in. Alright, so this is basically our water spigot here for the place. Outside we use this the most for all of our cleaning needs, especially after a long day of wrenching on the bus. This is nice cold water. No matter what temperature it is outside, this always comes out cold. So let's see if we can get some of this cleaned off. Oh yeah, and I don't know if you can see it, but a lot of that gunk coming right out of there. Yeah, I don't think these things have been cleaned in a long time. Probably never. Yeah. Alright. Clean this one up. That's all you really need on these metal mesh guys. See, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a vast improvement of what I just pulled out of there. So that's pretty neat. Alright, let's go let them dry off a little bit and put them back in. Actually, I'll shake them dry the way they are. This way it is here, it's probably going to be dry by the time I get back to the front of the bus.
With wind coming through, just hold them up.
Alrighty, so we washed them off, walked back here, and sure enough, they're dry. Just on that little jaunt over here, which is crazy. So let's put them back in. So this one goes in like this. And you scooch it over to the side. And then this guy.
Oh, they got little grab tabs.
Yeah, little tabs so you can make sure you grab hold of them. And this guy goes in like this. Alrighty. And then that friction there holds them in. They're not going anywhere. And that's really all you need to do right there. There's no other.
So hold on a second.
I'm the moose outside your window.
Okay. Yeah, I can't get the door open. Okay. Blowing that idea. I can kind of see.
Yeah. Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
The door won't open while there's pressure. You have to release the pressure, so. But there you go. You can see outside, so that just comes right through the front of the bus into the cab.
Yeah, that's the air inlet for driving.
Fresh air inlet.
And I'm sure that behind this flap right here, it goes down, and then there's the hole for the big filter here for the turbo.
So is that big filter, is that open on the end, or does it have closed?
It's open at the top. It has a rubber donut, so the air that's coming in there will get funneled down into that filter.
Got it.
So part of it looks like part of it up in this section box goes that way, and then part of it gets directed down, and when it gets directed down, it hits this ring, so it funnels everything inside the canister filter. And then there's a little tiny plug at the bottom, so if you're pulling in water, like it's raining out heavy days and you're driving, yeah, the water can drain out. So yeah, it's kind of a inconvenient setup. Here it's cool, but down there it's a total pain in the ass.
Right.
Trying to get that thing out and putting it back in, that was hard. Sheer horror. Okay, so headlights are adjusted, and now I guess we're done with this episode for now.
Wait until the night.
Right. That's right. Alrighty, man. Ciao.